Bigelow had a match versus Lawrence Taylor at WrestleMania 11. The build-up to the match was a storyline beginning at the Royal Rumble, in which Bigelow was pinned by the 1-2-3 Kid, and Taylor was laughing at him at ringside. Bigelow confronted Taylor at ringside. Taylor offered to shake his hand, and Bigelow shoved him onto the ground. As a result, Bigelow was temporarily suspended. He challenged Taylor to a match, and he ultimately accepted at WrestleMania. Taylor defeated him in the main event. After WrestleMania, Bigelow challenged Diesel for the WWF Championship on the April 24, 1995 episode of Monday Night Raw. After Diesel defeated Bigelow, Ted DiBiase announced that he was firing Bigelow. Later in 1995, due to creative differences, Bigelow negotiated an early release from his contract with the WWF. His final match with the WWF was at Survivor Series on November 19, 1995, in which he lost to Goldust. After leaving the WWF, Bigelow joined the NWA Northeast promotion, defeating Jim Neidhart to become the inaugural NWA Northeast Heavyweight Champion. Bigelow made his debut in ECW in February of 1996, confronting Taz. He had an impromptu match against Cactus Jack at Just Another Night, defeating him, after Jack made fun of him for losing to Lawrence Taylor at WrestleMania. Bigelow made regular appearances in ECW between 1997 and 1998. On the October 20, 1997 episode of ECW Hardcore TV, Rick Rude selected Bigelow as challenger for Shane Douglas' ECW World Heavyweight Championship. Bigelow went on to defeat Douglas, and held the belt until November to Remember on November 30, 1997, when Douglas defeated Bigelow to regain the championship. At Living Dangerously on March 1, 1998, Bigelow defeated Taz for the ECW World Television Championship in the Asbury Park Convention Hall. He would eventually lose the title on the April 4, 1998 episode of ECW Hardcore TV to Rob Van Dam. Bigelow rejoined WCW in November of 1998 and faced WCW World Heavyweight Champion Goldberg on the December 7 episode of Monday Nitro, resulting in a no contest. At Starrcade on December 27, Bigelow was one of several wrestlers to interfere in the main event match between Goldberg and Kevin Nash, helping Nash pin Goldberg for the first time in his career and win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. That resulted in Bigelow facing Goldberg at Super Brawl 9 in February of 1999 in a losing effort. On the May 31, 1999 episode of Monday Nitro, Bigelow and Diamond Dallas Page challenged Raven and Perry Saturn for the WCW World Tag Team Championships. Bigelow attacked Raven before the match. Chris Kanyon became a substitute for Raven, with Bigelow and Page winning the titles. On the February 7, 2000 episode of Monday Nitro, Bigelow defeated Brian Knobbs for the WCW Hardcore Championship. He lost the championship to Knobbs later that month at Super Brawl 10. After WCW was purchased by the WWF in March of 2001, Bigelow opted not to accept a buyout on his contract with Time Warner, the parent company of WCW. After his contract expired in June of 2002, he wrestled sporadically on the independent circuit. In 2004, Bigelow announced he would no longer take major bumps or chair shots for fear of exacerbating his health problems. He wrestled his final match on November 7, 2006, 10 weeks before his death, for the Florida-based American Combat Wrestling promotion, teaming with Ralph Moscat as the Syndicate to defeat Overkill, Legion Cage and Marcus Hall, for the ACW Tag Team Championships. The titles were vacated later that month. Bigelow had a complicated life. He spent 9 months in the Albert C. Wagner Youth Correctional Facility as a teenager, and was later imprisoned for 6 months in Mexico City for illegally acting as a bounty hunter in Mexico. As a young man, Bigelow was repeatedly arrested on charges including aggravated assault, attempted kidnapping, criminal restraint, drug possession, robbery, and sexual assault. On July 4, 2000, Bigelow received second-degree burns over 40% of his body while rescuing 3 children from a fire in Wayside, New Jersey. He spent 10 days in the hospital following the incident. In May of 2004, Bigelow was charged with endangering the welfare of a child via reckless driving. He attributed the incident to a seizure he had suffered, and the charges were dropped 2 months later. In August of 2004, Bigelow was convicted of possession of marijuana. On October 2, 2005, Bigelow was hospitalized with a broken nose and several lacerations after crashing his Harley-Davidson motorcycle on Florida State Road 50 in Hernando County, Florida. Bigelow's girlfriend was his passenger at the time of the crash. She suffered severe injuries, but eventually made a complete recovery and remained with Bigelow until his death. For much of his professional wrestling career, Bigelow suffered from an addiction to OxyContin. By the end of his life, Bigelow was suffering from multiple health issues and receiving Social Security disability benefits. He had atherosclerosis, diabetes, and a persistent infection. He also had severe back problems and back surgeries, which reduced his height by 2 inches. Bigelow was found dead by his girlfriend in his home in Hudson, Florida on January 19, 2007 at approximately 10 o'clock in the morning. An autopsy found that Bigelow's death was due to multiple drugs found in his system, including toxic levels of cocaine and benzodiazepines. A contributing factor to Bigelow's death was atherosclerosis. His death was ruled an accident by the Pascoe-Pinellas medical examiner. He was 45 years old.